Hey, everybody. Welcome to well, it's not the last panel, but it's the last panel that really matters today because we've got Mike Allred and his rep with the most, Simon Miller, hanging out with us for this hour. But if you made it this far, we've had a great day, lots of great panels throughout the day. I hope everybody's gotten to catch a few of them. We've got this last one's going to be a lot of fun because, as everybody knows, Mike is going to be attending OAX in January, and we wanted to have him back on one last time before that show happened. So without further ado, we are going to bring in both Mike and Simon. And I gotta get you full screen here, Mike, because I mean, the space you're in just is mind blowing. There might be a little mysticism here tonight. Yes, exactly. Look at this. So this is the room that we almost saw when we were doing the last interview. I think we caught a corner of the carbonite piece that you have there as a table, and now we get to actually see it in all its glory. Look at this.
Kind of sort of see it. You can go to my Instagram.
So you're surrounded by the pop art paintings that you've been doing of late. These are ones that when we had you last on, I think the only piece that was close to being done was the Kiss. That is Laura's favorite. Look at that thing. And I don't think it was that finished before. I think that it was close, but not anywhere near to where it's at right now.
I actually did the finishing touches about 5 o'clock this morning.
Dang. So we've had plenty of time to talk in the green room, but tell us, you get the I don't know how you found the time to do all these. I mean, what's the size of the Kiss, by the way? I mean, because it looks like it's got to be at least 2x4. Simon has all the measurements, huh?
All right.
That's why Simon's here.
I'm actually not ready for that one. I wasn't expecting that question, so give me a second.
It's almost as big as me. It's about that high.
Seriously? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's huge.
36 by 48.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 48 inches tall.
Yeah, it is resting on something, but I mean,
it's on my easel actually.
But yeah, I love the Madman piece with the guitar too. That's beautiful. Man. And what else we got?
I showed this.
Oh,
this
that's right.
Is one of my very favorites. It has a classic romance comic vibe to it that I love. And this is one of the smaller ones.
Now, are these all done in acrylic or what do you?
Yeah, all acrylic.
Yeah, a fellow musician, George Hodge, says he loves the Madman with the guitar as well. So yeah, he has a lot of music-related artwork in his calf gallery.
I'll bring it closer.
Yeah, please do.
Hey, Bill, I tried to respond to a comment in the chat. Matthew was asking about the Black Bolt piece.
Yeah,
it wouldn't fire off, but it is available, so he can message me about it at simon@gotsuperpowers.com. But I don't know why I can't comment.
Usually you have to do a little login. Did it prompt you to do it?
Yeah, it did.
But it didn't work.
Didn't take it. It showed my avatar there, but it just didn't connect.
If you, my daughter-in-law made a stencil of exclamation bolts, which is what I use for the pattern instead of the classic dot pattern. So, and you can see I used it has like a spot varnish shimmer to it.
Dang. And that's 3x4 as well, or somewhere in there, maybe 2x.
This one's a little smaller.
A little smaller. Wow.
Is that right? Yeah, it's just a little smaller.
Well, those that's impressive. And so is the diorama of the Bat Cave right to the side of that.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about that before the show as well. That's 100% handmade, not a model you can buy off the shelf.
From scratch. I made everything. The atomic pile. I cut the acrylic. Everything.
Well, it's
these are the things I do when I have to break away from my drawing table. I can only do so much like this. Every once in a while, I have to need to get back and do something else.
I completely understand. I need to break away from my monitor every once in a while too. What is to the left of there? Is that a pinball machine? I'm seeing the front of something. To your right. Looks like a couple. All right,
There's
man.
4.
I want to hang out at your place.
Please. Yeah.
That's well, I have to get to the West Coast, but I will definitely make it there sometime.
It's a Beatles, Batman, Star Wars, and Guardians of the Galaxy pinball machines.
I'm jealous. I've owned a few in my day. I used to have the Spider-Man. I had the Doctor Who for a long time, but I knew I couldn't move with them. But I'm a huge, arcade fan from back in the day. So I've had a lot of pinball machines pass through my hands.
Simon was privy to where it all started. Somebody had access to a Batman 66 pinball machine and offered to trade it for a Silver Surfer painting. And ta-da! and then I've done a couple Beatles projects, and that led to that. Obviously, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and then the Guardians is probably the most popular of the pinball machines. It's really easy to get multi-ball on it. So,
and that's one of the real new, the newest one of all of those, because those just came out not like the last 5 years or something. I can't even remember, but I've never played one. So, but so as everybody knows, Mike is coming to OAX. We dropped that news several times on the channel and everything, but those pieces in the back are the ones that Mike was doing for his pre-con stuff. I mean, just as a style, just as something to break for the monotony of the black and whites, and they're turning out great, man. I mean, they are unbelievably cool. I never would have guessed, that they would look like that. That's got to be, I mean, it's got to be fun when you're working on those on that scale.
It's a bit backbreaking, but no, I just love the whole pop culture vibe, the pop art vibe. Feel like I'm getting a little bit back from what was stolen from our art form in the 60s. And pop artists taking from panels, not acknowledging where the original art came from, and making zillions of dollars off of it. So for me, this is, but I always loved that, the fact that stuff got the art world excited about pop art, the comic book aspect of it. And so this is just my way of tapping into that, but with complete legitimacy.
I was going to ask you about that, and I wasn't sure how to approach it. So as far as Lichtenstein's approach to, like you said, appropriating images without credit, and of course, when I look at your work, I think about that because we're used to seeing those pieces in that scale done, with, like you said, without crediting the artists at all. So I think it's kind of cool that you're approaching it, in a similar way, with the idea that you want to portray these images larger than life. This in a moment in time. I mean, the one with the boop on it. I mean, that's just that. I love that piece, and that's something that again, that had to be fun to kind of come up with. That's the piece I'm going to do. I don't know. I mean, I just don't. I guess so. Explain to me your approach to it and why you see that as an interesting approach to this. The riffing on the Lichtenstein's approach from the 60s and 70s.
Well, I like the idea of using word balloons and either dialogue or that kind of has an air of mystery but self-contained. So you can kind of interpret what the context might be. And with this piece over here, it's actually a companion piece to Boop, where Frank Einstein, madman, meets this alien, and they have this very brief existential conversation. And so you get that from the little snippets of dialogue from the two pieces. This one isn't finished, but I at least wanted to, reference what it is to this. This one over here just makes me laugh because it's a classic comic book battle, very inspired by Kirby. But this character his caption is, "What did you say about my mother?" So maybe Ben Grimm might say something like that, but I just love that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know, that's why they're about to throw down. That the electric eel insulted Zapman's mother.
Well, the colors are so classic too. I mean, just looking at it, you think Kirby just because of the color palette that you're using on there. I mean, Kirby Crackle aside, it just has that feel to it. I love it.
I like bursts of color, and like if I were able to show you my walls, you'd see, they're covered with and Laura's completely arm in arm with me on this. I don't have to. When you see our house, it is a pop culture artifact museum, but she's completely. I'm not. Some people will come in here and go, "What? Your wife lets you do this?" Like, she's into this too. We're made for each other, and but you'll see all these wonderful black and white images, ink on paper images, but then pow, a big piece of colorful art as well. So you'll have these bursts of color surrounded by all this great black and white stuff, and it makes for a really nice contrast. And like big bus shelter movie posters, no, you can't. I bet giant Forbidden Planet poster, and there's Planet of the Apes up there. The 66 Batman, that's a bus shelter poster. They're huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then these are the pieces I kept, being Adam West's cover artist. So there were, Adam West signed one of my original covers to each of our grandkids.
Oh, wow.
So they each have a piece of art I did of Adam West Batman signed to them from Adam West.
That's amazing. And I can tell from, at least maybe I'm wrong, but I'm looking at like the angle of your ceiling and what may or may not be a brick fireplace or something. You're in a home that was probably built at least seemingly in the late 60s. I know that architecture style.
We're huge into mid-century. Yeah. Love it. This piece right here is actually the Adam West Batman piece that started everything.
The Watusi?
Yes, I did that for DC Solo, and it was used for solicitations. And when they were about to go to press, we were told that it looked too much like Adam West, and they didn't have the rights to his likeness. And so my response was, "Well, get the rights to his likeness." And it wasn't in time for that, so I ended up doing Wonder Girl, doing the Batusi. But the art was out there, and so it had a viral, buzz. So when I met Adam West for the first time in New York, where he was all by himself, and the Batmobile was there, I was able to say, I did that. And we had this great conversation, got to sit in the Batmobile with him. He introduced me to Julie Newmar. This was one of the greatest days of my life. And then shortly after that, I was asked, they did get the rights to his likeness. I was asked to do Batman 66, the series. I can't remember what I was doing at the time, but I couldn't do the interior art, but I became the cover artist, and then did 2 issues that I did with my big brother Lee, who I wouldn't even know what a comic book is if it wasn't for him. So anyway, I still pinch myself that all happened. Batman is so huge in my life. It's one of my earliest memories is just filled with Batmania. So that it really was a literal dream come true, doing all that.
So getting Adam West's likeness, approved, is that through Adam West or was it through some other entity? I'm just kind of curious.
Oh no, they had to get it through him. Yeah.
Okay, good.
And then they had to seek out everybody else too. I remember as I was doing the covers, like we were waiting on approval from Yvonne Craig for Batgirl. And it's really weird because if you're doing a Batgirl image, you're only seeing this much of Yvonne Craig. And yet it could be really sticky, but they got the license, the rights from her, Vincent Price for Egghead. Every time, if you look through those covers, you'll be able to tell when it's a little generic and then when I could go full on with the likeness.
It makes me want to go back and look at them now. But I can't imagine how awesome that would feel. Like you said, you're coming into comics thanks to your brother, and then ending up being able to be in a position where you're getting to work with the likenesses of characters that we all grew up on in pop culture in such a way that, I mean, clearly these things influence your work, early on and to this day.
Speaking of, where's that? Could you hand me that, Han? I'm a huge fan of the original Star Trek, and hopefully this won't be glary, but I got to do this cover for, it was the original Star Trek with the Legion of Superheroes. So that was a twofer, but if you can see, William Shatner signed it to us. And then I actually just showed this to Simon, but I did, this is like a mirror image of the new cast with Strange New Worlds, the Captain Pike.
Wow.
And so it again, it's kind of a mirror image of that, at least with the composition.
I like Strange New Worlds.
And I realized I could show this. That's the stencil, the exclamation bolt stencil that my daughter-in-law Jordy made for me.
And I assume she cut out several of those to make it easy, or did you, or how did that work?
She's an engineer, right? She's able to do all kinds of wild things that I don't understand, but it has to do with some fancy machinery and computers.
Hey,
I'm missing analog.
You have a good assemblage of a family around you that can help you with different things. I mean, Laura coloring your work, and then, geez, I mean, you're very, very, very fortunate, and you can all karaoke, which is also amazing.
Yeah, and Han has done some coloring too, which is why you'll see his name credited on these monster. We just got these, the 5th volume of the Mad Maniverse collection, and this piece I just decided to let go. So anybody interested can yell at Simon or you, Bill. But
we all like to yell at Simon.
Yeah, it feels as a theme. But anyway, yeah, yell at me.
I love spot varnish.
Yeah, that came out really nice. So are those on the market right now? That volume?
Yeah.
First 4 are that. So that must be like your preview copy. Like
this is 5. We actually just got our boxes yesterday. So I'm guessing they'll be in the stores soon, if not already. And Laura colored all my original black and white stuff, which will finish up the 6th volume. So until I get more Madman Creator own stuff done, we're done with the 6th volume. And these are huge. It's stunning to realize I've done that much work. But yeah, that volume has Dead Air, the first thing I ever had published. That's in color for the first time. And then volume 6 will have graphic music and graphic music, yeah, just packed with rarities and stuff that started me out.
I really love the graphic stuff. I got quite a few of the early pages, like the originals, and I love them. They're very kind of formative, but they're still, very strong. And I also have a dead air page, which is amazing to have.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Huh.
Wow. I think I've only ever seen the one that I've got up.
Do you have them in your calf?
No, not right now.
Okay. So I don't think I remember seeing those in there before.
Yeah, I might have a couple of graphic music pages up, but probably not all of them. I have pages from both of the minis, both of the series.
Yeah, I finally understand the appeal of the formative work. For an artist, you look at that stuff and cringe, because again, you recognize what little you weren't doing correctly initially, or as good as you would like it to be. But then I'm such a huge fan. We were talking about Dan Klaus, and you look at his early stuff, or Charles Burns' early stuff, or the Hernandez brothers' early stuff. And even though it's not as polished or as assured as what we've become familiar with, there's something raw and intense about it. And so anybody that appreciates my work in that way, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And again, I think I don't think there's much of I mean, from my perspective, the graphic music stuff, like the second one, at least, like it leads very well into what, Mad Men and everything else. Yeah, Dead Air is very early, very formative, like very raw, as you said. But I think the other stuff I look at, it's like very mature, and I like it. You might see things that you would look at as mistakes. And I look at it's like, this is fun, and it's really, very different.
Well, Dead Air, for instance, I inked with a rapidograph. I thought that was the state of the art way to use ink. And that is not what you want to use for artwork, maybe for lettering or lining your borders. But and the paper I use, as you'd know, is super thin.
Yeah.
So it's amazing I didn't just tear it all up with these harsh rapidographs. But then I was always trying different pens, going to the art store. They didn't know what a comic book artist used back in the day, the mid to late 80s and early 90s. And then finally I was able to talk with Charles Burns, one of my heroes, who has probably the best ink line of any artist ever. And I was able to ask him, what do you use? And he told me Winsor Newton Series 7, number 3, which I immediately ran out and got. And I had just turned in the first complete issue of Madman with Tundra, which I had inked with some stupid pen and not a rapidograph. But I asked them to send all the artwork back, so that, because I started inking with a brush, Tales of Ordinary Madness, this little scene series that I did with Dark Horse. That's when that's where I learned to ink with a brush. And then I became so in love with it that they kicked and screamed, but I begged them, and they sent me all the artwork back. And I was finishing or starting to ink number 2 and loving the brush, and was able to go over my lines, not completely, but enough that it pulled 1 and 2 together. But that's exactly when I felt the brush was for me. And I can't imagine inking with anything else on it, just the way it flows on paper. It's and the control, where you can literally begin your line with the width of 1 hair and then push down to expand the line. That the control you can get when you master it is unlike anything else.
So did you take to it right away, switching from the rapidograph to the brush?
It wasn't just taking to it. It was like an epiphany. It was like, this is the piece that's missing to my puzzle. And it just pulled everything together. And then I recognized that I would see where Dan Klaus, how he used a brush. The best artist with a pen is Jaime Hernandez. He can make a pen look like a brush. but he almost exclusively uses a pen. And then Will Eisner, who I might have talked about my history with him. So but I was able to, for the first 10 years of San Diego Comic-Con, we went every year. And so in 1990, it was the last year in the old convention center. And then they got to where it is now. And every year they would knock a wall down, they just made it bigger and bigger and bigger, and until it's the insane thing that it is now. But we were constantly running into Will Eisner, first time in Germany when I was still a TV reporter in Europe. And so he watched my progression. I remember meeting you in Germany. And so I would always have these great, and he always promised to do a Madman piece for me. Obviously he never did, but I did a cover. I did a story with Mike Oeming and Matt Brundage for The New Adventures of the Spirit. And Will Eisner used our story for the cover. So in a way he did do something that I created and co-created, but always wanted that Madman piece from him. But I brought it up because he would always talk about technique and tools. And one thing that he shared with me was using a pen for backgrounds, or like architecture, hard line things, and then using a brush for living objects, or living things, animals, people, and the contrast, or you get kind of this crisp, flat, dead line, and then you have this lush, live line which separates them. Mm-hmm. And so that's all I did was constantly look to see what other artists used, and then again, my formative years, I began to recognize what other artists did, and favorite artists. I would realize why they were favorite artists and the things that they did that lit me up or inspired me. And for me, the brush was that missing piece. My confidence exploded at that point. Prior to that, I felt like I was constantly trying to figure out what I should be doing on every level, storytelling to artwork. And it all came together with that and Madman, which is really where my career began, at least to where I could continue doing it and not have to go back to broadcasting.
Well, speaking of Madman, I saw this question here from Rick. I don't want to miss it. He asked if there was going to be any new Madman coming out anytime soon.
I have a giant outline that I just barely chip away at. So there's always new Madman just waiting to be finished. But there are just all these amazing collaborations that keep falling in my lap that I just can't say no to. And like Superman Space Age last year, which I was going to tease what's on my drawing board now. And
please do.
So I hope I won't get in trouble. I know this will be announced soon, but I know that an image can be frozen, so I put blue tape over the title. But
oh my,
that's looking good.
That's all you get.
That's a tease right there, Mike. Wow.
But it's because of stuff like that like Silver Surfer, for instance, that was a massive detour. Mm-hmm. And so when these collaborations, like working with Mark Russell, has been just phenomenal. We're like Siamese twins. He just lives an hour and a half away, and so it's never been more convenient to do walk and talks with my collaborator. And I wish I could do more. In fact, it's not just Madman. I have several, like Daniel Shaban is who has been my editor at Dark Horse most recently with X-Ray Robot, for instance, which is part of the Madman universe. And there's so many things I want to talk to him, because he's always asking me, "What, you got anything?" And I'm like, "Yes," but it's the time. There's only so much time. But yes, more Madman will come. But also there's another project which I'm a third of the way completely done. Laura's even colored it, which I hand lettered, which is a musical graphic novel. And I can't say what it is yet, but it's the exact same format of the Bowie graphic novel, which was a huge treat for us. And when people see what it is, I think they'll just go, yeah, that makes sense. So it's great. And I'm working with that with one of my very best friends, Professor Benjamin Saunders, who is a famous curator of comic art exhibits.
Yeah, he did the Marvel exhibit, the one that's been touring for the last 4 years.
He's the guy that put that together. And so that alone, but he did a history of the superhero at the University of Oregon, which again, the amazing everything that he pulled together. Like, he'll get stuff from David Mandel, who famously has an amazing collection. And he did a EC exhibit, which I'm a huge.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that, or I haven't seen any photos from that, but I remember I did talk with Ben. He's always proud of that one, and that was, I think, the first major exhibit he pulled together.
Like, phone call, come down, we're unboxing some stuff, and there's that Frazetta cover, that started out as a Buck Rogers cover, that with the caveman on the cliff. To see it in person, all of that. I mean, EC has Bernie Krigstein, Johnny Craig. Oh man, talking about an artist that inks with a brush. Check out Johnny Craig in the EC collections. Wow. No, the biggest burst of storytelling and artists ever. That it really is phenomenal. But anyway, yeah, Ben's cool, and he's also he knows everything about, like, the pop culture conversations are insane, from movies, music, and comics, and he's from Wales. He has this very lush, sophisticated accent, and kind of like Simon.
Kind of, yeah. Close enough.
These Brits, but he's an English professor, yet he teaches a course in comics, and so he'll do. And I sat in a whole term once to drink it all in, and one of the lessons was on my work, which was flattering and interesting and surreal, but we've talked about doing all kinds of things together, and this is pretty amazing, this music graphic novel that we're doing, and hopefully it'll be announced within the next year. Again, it's a third completely done, and just like the Bowie book, I've hand lettered it, which allows me to completely integrate all of the artwork, which, sometimes I understand the convenience of digital lettering. It's so easy to just, pop a thing on there, but to be able to hand draw the word balloon so that it's completely perfectly integrated with the composition of the panel. I wish I could do that on all my projects, but the time just doesn't allow it.
Well,
when you guys are ready to, I'm sorry, Simon. Yeah, when you're ready to announce that, I'd love to have you and Ben on and to talk about it. That would be a lot of fun.
It would be fun, yeah.
So there was okay, go ahead, Simon.
Some of the pages we've got do have some of Mike's hand lettering. Not all of them, but a couple of them do. So that's definitely a treat from an original art collector when you can actually read the dialogue that's intended for the page, that's for the page.
If you need me to shut up,
no, not at all. We're thoroughly enjoying it. Simon and I just started talking over each other.
Yeah.
I just realized we haven't shown any of the pages that we're actually trying to sell here today. So
that is true. We do have a few pages to show. There was one question from the audience. I don't know, maybe address that one. Oregon wanted to know, ask about Red Rocket 7 and the development of such a rock history intertwined story. Talk a bit about that.
That is bizarre. And that actually started with a dream. I had this very detailed dream, vividly laying out this story, but then seeing it as a movie and illustrated and with a soundtrack of pop psychedelic space rock songs. And when I woke up, it was like a blueprint. This is what I need to do. And it was very frustrating for the folks at Dark Horse because they just wanted me to do more Madman. And I was trying to explain to them, I want to do this comic book about an alien clone, a clone of an alien who sees all of rock history and actually at times influences it or is a part of it. And then also, and by the way, I'm going to make a no-budget film, shot on film, and inspired by Robert Rodriguez, who I was working with on a Madman movie. And if you've ever read his Rebel Without a Crew book, it's intoxicating. You read that book and you're like, I'm going to go make a movie today. And that's kind of what I did. And the feature film is called Astroesque. And then my band, The Gear, we made an album and it all kind of came together in that way. But Red Rocket 7, the story, this alien crash lands on Earth in a red rocket, and there's a program to ensure his survival by cloning him. So the crash initiates this cloning, and 7 clones are made, and each has an amplified aspect of the original alien. So one has his fighting skills amplified, and the 7th clone, 7, has his musical abilities amplified. And so that's who Red Rocket 7 is. And then crash landing in the 50s, we see him at the birth of rock and roll with Little Richard and Elvis, and of course then through the Beatles and the Stones and the glam rock stuff with Bowie and T-Rex and Mott the Hoople, and it brought us up into the late 90s. And our friends, the Dandy Warhols, are who I used for the contemporary examples of music towards the end of the book. Anyway, that's Red Rocket 7.
I think
History of rock and roll told through the eyes of an alien clone. That's the elevator pitch.
I think that answers Oregon's question. At least I hope so.
And Lisa Henson, Jim Henson's daughter, was very interested in making some kind of movie or animated feature or something about it. But it was nice meeting her, but it never happened, obviously.
Well, that's, sorry, I was just reading through the chat there, but we had a guy dressed up as Elvis earlier today on the show, as he likes to do. Yes. Yeah. He's a ham, but, Ivan says Elvis.
Me too.
In a different kind of way, more subdued manner. But maybe we should show the art for sale, because we've been talking for 40 minutes already, Mike, and that's the thing. I could sit down and BS with you for hours, and that's a
Go
good
ahead and start talking about it. I'm going to talk about being a ham. I'm going to show you something else I made.
Okay. I'm really curious because I can see the word TELE over there, and I'm wondering if there's like a telephone booth either on the other side of that wall. Do you see what I'm talking about, right, Simon?
I don't. I'm looking.
Oh, right above the painting that is still in progress.
Okay. Yeah. It's
right.
very like a TARDIS, maybe.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm wondering. Uh-oh.
I made this.
You made it.
That's real leather, folks. And it's molded exactly to my head. Again, go on my Instagram. You'll see me as Batman.
All right. That's where I'm headed after the show. I'm making a reminder note here, so I have to check this out.
But
Is that
I
something you recently
love,
made?
I love the Batman, the 1922 movie.
Mhm.
I just thought they nailed it.
Well, so why don't we talk about the art sale? We have I can't even remember now. I think we have 11. We have 11 pieces that we're showing tonight, right, Simon?
It's 10 or 11. I don't remember exactly. I wasn't counting.
I'm pretty sure it's 11.
Oh, this one last thing I wanted to
Yeah.
show, because I was struggling whether to let this go or not. One of my early memories of comics was we had The Brave and the Bold that introduced the Teen Titans. And that was my introduction to Bruno Premiani. When people ask who my favorite artists are, my influence, the artist who usually gets head scratching, Bruno Premiani. I think he's one of the greatest artists that ever worked in comics. And he did that first Teen Titans story with a villain called the Separated Man. And when I was asked to do this Teen Titans cover, I was able to draw the Separated Man. So this is another tap into my childhood that was very gratifying. Okay, I'm done talking for now.
Simon's comment in the chat about airport security and that mask. So about bringing it to OAX, yeah, that could cause some problems. But Wraith was mentioning that they like the Batman cowl, but your Boba Fett jacket is what's really doing it for him. So
man, I'm a sick person. I actually have made a screen accurate Mandalorian suit head to toe. So this is an afternoon making this. So, but yeah,
well, that we'll have to see. Is that in the house, or do you have to like keep that?
It is, but as last time when I moved the
we're not going to move
to show you stuff, it disconnected me. So
right, we're not going to do that. Next time we can see it, maybe when we have you on camera.
Let's see what happens if I just do this. This is my first try.
Dang.
So this is the suit that he wore in the first 3 episodes of the first season.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went with a full Beskar for after that, which is where I really got obsessed with screen accuracy. In fact, Laura will make fun of me for always talking about screen accuracy. It has to be screen accurate.
Anything worth doing is worth doing right. That's for sure. I only buy, I hate to say that. I don't think, I don't have the time to make costumes, but I shop for mine. Got the Thor hammer over there, but I bought that and the helmet. So, but yeah, everything else it's all off the shelf for me. So yes, Simon, let's talk about the art sale just briefly before we start throwing some slides up here. Everything's going to get claimed in the chat. I think it's 11, but we'll see. Okay. Everything's got a lot number on it, so you just type claim and the lot number in there. You're going to email Simon after the show. You can see his email address on there. I'm sure everybody in the chat has been to gotsuperpowers.com at least once or twice in their foray into this original comic art hobby. But if you haven't been, you got to go over there, bookmark it, and sign up for Simon's mailing list too, so you can stay on top of everything that he's got going on over there. Right? What else am I forgetting though, Simon?
I'm good with time payments. So feel free to claim, and we can work it out afterwards. Shipping should be $25 on the low end of things, and obviously a bit more if it's going to be outside of the US or the prices, the piece a bit more expensive. But as you pointed out, Bill, when we were talking, I think everything is $1,000 or less. Knowing this is like the end of a long weekend where people have been, spending lots of money, so definitely trying to make sure it's all within reach of everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we dive into it? Because I'm sure there's a few things we can talk about with most of the artwork that we've got to show here today. So let me go ahead and pull up the first slide. This is lot number 1, priced at $900. It's from Ecstatics 24, page 7, and Nick Crane did the inks on this one. I always loved your work on Ecstatics. I mean, as an X-Men fan, just seeing you kind of dive into that world, was a thrill for me because I never thought that would come about, and I loved every issue of Ecstatics, and the team, that just was a thrill. I mean, I'm sure you enjoyed it too, right? As a creative team, you guys worked so well together.
Oh, wonderfully, yeah. And to see our what we came up with, not only plot wise, but with Zeitgeist showing up in Deadpool 2, and that netted so many nifty little bonuses. I can't even list them. It was so great. And of course, we never could have expected that. But this particular scene is one of the most talked about of the entire series, where Mr. Sensitive fights Iron Man, and they end up stripping naked, and Mr. Sensitive, who Tony Stark throws a blade of grass will hurt him. He's so sensitive without his suit that protects him, and of course the Iron Man armor protects Tony Stark in numerous ways. So we see them at their absolute most vulnerable in this scene.
I do have some of the naked fighting ones, but I didn't think that would be the ones to lead with in this. If anyone's interested in naked, fighting scenes, I can hook you up.
Yeah, blur the nutty bits.
Yes.
So they are out there and available, but this is the one we have available tonight. And that's good. Are they up on your website, Simon?
No, not those ones. Not yet, I don't think.
All right. Well, that's good to know. Everybody loves the dupe, loves your dupe. All right. Well, this is lot one from that. I think we have one other page from Ecstatics too. Let me see, which one was that one? That was page 17. We get some Cap in this one too, and Hawkeye. So let's see, page 17 from 25, priced at $900. I mean, doing anything Avengers related? I mean, in your, as a young you, did you ever think that you'd end up being able to work on characters that have been around that long?
Oh no, I never had a clue how you would even begin to. How do you get a job with Marvel or DC? How does that happen? I didn't even know what a comic book convention was when I was making my own comics as a kid. And when we moved back to the States and the world just started to open up to us, it was crazy. But I love the way we did it, because I came in through the back door, and my initial success was with my creator-owned stuff, which gave me, I think, a lot more leeway when Marvel and DC came knocking. So it was that spirit of independence that I was, exercised with. So when I did get the opportunity to do this stuff, it was with knowing what I should expect to be allowed to do, and quickly learned where the borders were, and also having great relationships with my editors, who always were eager to support the creativity, and everybody just wants to make good comics. And I just love the way everything came to me the way it did, because it did in a way that I fully appreciate every wonderful thing that's happened.
Well, this is a wonderful run, and I enjoyed it. And Milligan's writing was fun, and your art just was spot on for his storytelling.
Thanks.
So these are the only two Ecstatics pages that we got. You're not feeling, Alberto is in the chat, of course, and he is a well-known Captain America collector. We're not targeting you, Alberto. I promise.
I was. That's exactly what I was doing.
Oh, sorry,
Alberto.
I wasn't really, honestly. I wasn't.
I didn't think so. But we don't have. Do we have any Hawkeye, collectors in there? Not because I'm a big Cyclops fan from X-Men, and everybody gives Cyclops a hard time. But I mean, Hawkeye is kind of the the guy who gets the hardest time over on the Avengers. So
I love them both. I love Cyclops, and when I was a kid, he popped out at me. But Yeah, Hawkeye. How cool is that? And again, one of those heroes that you can be. Just practice your archery and you can be a Hawkeye.
And like we can all be Batman, just have to get a bit richer and
That's
build
right.
our own cow.
Oh man. All right. So these are the two ecstatics. Let me switch over. We've got let's see. This was now wait a minute. Should I feel targeted, Alberto? There's a God-sized Thor page here from this is page 26, slot number 3, priced at $600. But I don't. You get Loki on there and you get Thor. I mean, how and the Enchantress. It's a fun page. And is you know, how did you get involved with this particular book?
I don't remember. I remember doing it because I was experimenting with graphite to create tones that Laura would then turn into color. Mm-hmm. And this is when we started our where we were learning to what became our very unique way of collaborating on colors, where I would give Laura the line art, she would scan it, give it back to me, and then I would go in with either graphite or ink washes for modeling and textures. She would then scan it again and be able to separate the line art from the textures and use the textures for color. So the colors would have a more organic vibe instead of a digital vibe.
And when it comes to commissions that Mike does, he can do the same thing. He either does them like the ecstatic pages we saw before, where it's just straight up pen and ink, or he can go in and add these kind of graphite lines, the tonal, the ink washes, and it looks, it's gorgeous. It's really rich.
But yeah, this was just a one and done. So I don't remember being asked, but I do remember this was when we were really excited about making this process work for Laura and I.
All right. Well, very nice. This is lot 3. So we can now we've got 3 pages from iZombie next too. So let's take a look at lot number 4. This is from issue 5, page 2. Really nice.
This is one of my favorites. This is the Ghost Gathering. I love this splash. Look at the little ghost cowboy on the little pony, and then the spooky little, turn of the century girls. And I love this page. And Ellie in the middle there, we pushed really hard to get her in the iZombie TV series, but they really wanted to stick to more of a real world procedural thing and not go into the whole ghosty stuff. Mm-hmm. But which is ironic because Rose MacGyver, our star, is now in the most popular sitcom on TV now with ghosts. So she's actually playing with ghosts now, which is what we wanted her to do in iZombie.
Well, this is and I assume was this the title page for the book, even though it was page 2, or was page 1 a splash as well? I don't recall. I
don't remember. I don't think it's it might, if it's a title page, then it would have run across the trees on the top, but I don't remember if there was anything other than the dialogue.
Well, this is a gorgeous splash page, and from iZombie 5, page 2. We can take a look at the next one here.
Hello.
This is lot number 5, and it's priced at $1,000. And this is from the same book, iZombie 5, page 17.
This is an example of something that you'll see me do from time to time. I love to do a splash that has time moving across it. Mm-hmm. And I think the first time I did that, it was a staircase like this, and it was in Madman Comics. And so with this, you can, in fact, I think we have a Madman one where I do this that Simon pulled out, but the dialogue will move you across the figures as they're walking and talking. So this is kind of a before sunrise kind of thing.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, it's a little bit of Escher because of the architecture, and a little bit nude descending a staircase. But I mean, the idea that you're kind of carrying out this conversation and interaction between the characters all in one splash page is tremendously fun.
Yeah, the first thing I try to break down is body language. What's being said? What do I want to communicate? And with this, this is that, where you're getting these little sparks of a romance as these characters are connecting. And I just wanted this really casual, lovely walk and talk, and that's what this is.
That's well done. So this is priced at $1,000, lot 5, and we have one more iZombie page as well. Lot 6. This one's priced at $800, and it's the page following the one we were just looking at.
So it makes a great pair. It's just a very nice standalone kind of half splash, large panel at the bottom as well. So.
And I was going for that classic romance comic vibe. I just wanted to have that crackle between these two characters.
Yeah, I love the tonal work that you put into these. It's so delicate, but it adds so much to the page. A lot of times today, artists don't even worry about filling those kinds of details in because they figure it'll be handled by the colorist, and it's a detail that kind of gets left out of the line work. But as a part of yours, it just adds so much to it to make these pieces look like finished works of art. It
allows me to lock down light source, and you'd be surprised how much coloring, especially when it comes to modeling, will actually change the architectural structure of a face. And it was something I became very sensitive to when I was on a project that had a colorist already assigned, and Laura wasn't able to color me. And when I saw the work, it was like, wait, what? Because there was actually modeling on a face where you would have the planes of it based on how you would model a nose, for instance, would determine the size or the width or the length of a nose, or how deep eyes are, or how shallow eyes are, or all of these subtle little things that make a face. And I became obsessed with controlling that, and so that Laura didn't have to guess what I was wanting. That we started doing this, and again, it came from a dream where I thought, what about this? And I asked Laura if that would work for her. And she was like, yeah, let's try that. And we were up and running with this technique, this process, very quickly.
Oh, very cool. I can't say that I've had any dreams that have helped me in my business or creative side of things whatsoever. But I think that's awesome, man. That you pull from your subconscious and get these these vibes that you decide to run with, and they turn into really great schemas for the way you do your work, and also some great storytelling. So this is 6. Now we're going to move into some Madman art, and I think those are going to be the last 5 pieces we've got here. So we'll take a look at lot number 7 next. So wow, this is from the 20th anniversary Monster 15, page 6, priced at $800. This one makes me smile when I see this page.
I think this is the snow globe.
What do you think, Simon?
I am not sure, but I think I'm not sure if it's the 20th anniversary or it's issue 15, page 6.
Yeah, it's not that. Yeah, this is the snow globe. He's in a snow globe. Yeah, this would be. It's not the 20th anniversary.
Oh, I mean, that's what was in the spreadsheet. I'm sorry.
I might have messed things up. I think I put some things in, then I corrected it, and I might have done a bad job of correcting. So it's all my fault. Either way, still the right price to go along with it, as long as because I can see in the scan it says 15, page 6, so it's that bit's right.
That is right. Okay. So snow globe issue, then it's $800 on this one. And let's see here. What do we got for lot 8? I think this is from the same issue, but it's always going to say Madman 20th anniversary Monster. I apologize. So this is lot 8. This one's priced at $1,000. this one's just, I love the panel layout on this, and I love how the images just really kind of weave into one another from top to bottom, especially really between like the second and third panel, just the way it all fits together. I mean, I think you put a lot of thought into how this page layout was done and how the characters were going to kind of intertwine from one panel to the next and get the flow through there.
And a terrific monster battle. I love creating monsters, and I really love this one.
And you got Madman with his yo-yo.
That's right.
I missed that when I was looking at this earlier, because the monster is what gets me. It's really well done. You could do work for TSR and come up with creatures for D&D. I think
it also shows you that Frank's a dirty fighter. He's not he won't hold back from biting or poking at eyes or a
biting
groin kick. He'll he doesn't fight clean.
Let's see. There was a question from the audience. We can pause for. Let's see. What was that? Knights of Old One. No. Has Mike ever done any live action Japanese characters like Ultraman or Kamen Rider? I think that would be fantastic.
I have not, but would love to. Yeah, Ultraman, again, another childhood mainstay, was just always there. You'd come home from school and Ultraman would be on.
And
I think he would do a pretty great Ultraman.
Yeah, and Mike does do commissions, not just the huge painted ones we looked at earlier, but 11 by 17, one character or up to 4 character pieces. So you can email me at simon@gotsuperpowers to talk about that. I'm happy to set it up. I don't know if Speed Racer would fall into this category. I'm not sure if that's Japanese or not. I know you did a cover for that at least.
Yeah. Love Speed Racer.
A good while back.
All right.
Also, Thunderbirds was another childhood thing that I would love to be able to play with it at some point. But I would definitely want them to have that marionette look. The faces, they all kind of look like puppet versions of Sean Connery or something.
Yeah, that's very true. Let's see here. Well, let's go. We got 3 more lots to look at, and this is lot number 9. So
more
it's
monsters
and with hand lettering.
Oh my goodness.
So these ones are the 20th anniversary monster, because they're labeled as issue 20, but they're actually the 20th anniversary monster. Yeah. That's why I got confused myself and I fixed it, but I apparently fixed more than I should have done.
So you enjoy doing the hand lettering, Mike? Actually, Mike's away from camera at the moment. I would assume that he does.
He does.
Yeah, I went and grabbed the 20th anniversary special to show exactly what this is, because this was pretty epic. It's this giant book. Eisner.
And lots of wonderful pinups in there as well, and like some original stories, not just from you, but other people as well, right, Mike?
Yeah, like Darwin Cook's in here, and what is that what we were just looking at?
That was the page, yeah. What's the size of that? I don't have a copy of that. I've always wanted
11 by 17.
It is 11 by 17. Wow.
Yeah, and like you said, hand lettered.
All right, I've got to get one of those. I every time I see it when I'm browsing on Amazon, because it's one of my saved books, I'm like, why not? I got to buy it. I'm going to do it now. I got to take care of that too. All right. Let's see. So I'll just pull that one back up so we can see it again. But and I should have asked too. I mean, we didn't write down the sizes on the pages. So was this done on 11 by 17 or
everything you're showing is 11 by 17?
Okay.
I intentionally did that because Mike has done some of the early X-Force, and some other Madmens are smaller, but just to keep it easy and just so you didn't have to put the extra bit, I made sure everything was 11 by 17.
Yeah, I'll never do that again, by the way. Almost destroyed my hand.
And I saw Matt DiTullio asked about commissions at OAX, and Kazra threw a link in the chat for everybody who is curious. There's a page on gotsuperpowers.com that we put together with Simon. So that kind of lists all the OAX opportunities, including those pop art paintings that were in the background behind Mike that we'll look at when we're done looking at these slides again. So let's see, 2 more pieces here to look at. Lot number 10 is the next one. So this is from the 20th anniversary as well. This one is page 16 on 11 by 17. And hand lettering.
With the tones, the confidence has really kicked in, where we really started to figure out what worked and actually how rich I could get with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the way it makes the originals look.
Me too. And it's got the trademark circular panel as well.
Yeah, no, this is really nice. And I love that last panel. Well, really just the way you've handled the ink wash in the tones there throughout this, using kind of a mid-gray, on the background there, and also just throughout the whole piece. It's really nice. And it's funny. I mean, I see it here too, where you're just kind of tying in from panel to panel, the whole flow, it feels like. I mean, it has to be intentional. It just feels well thought out and well crafted.
Thank you.
Alberto says famous last words. I won't be long, promise. Now,
I was reading the words as I was picking this page, and I picked up on that too. Like, it felt like a very nice standalone page, just for like being able to read the dialogue, but also the dialogue itself.
Mm-hmm. Now, last but not least, something
I thought there was another.
There was a bit of a mix-up on my end on that one, Mike.
Oh, okay. That's not for sale?
Not today.
Oh, okay.
This is the last one we have, though. Lot 11, Madman toy packaging art. Now, do you have the toy packaging art to show?
It actually hasn't come out yet.
Oh, okay. Is it due soon?
It should be within the year, yeah. I was just shown prototypes of it, so it should be soon.
Very cool.
They're like there's a whole line of figures that were recently done. These are larger, I think 6-inch with more articulation.
Man, I mean, the idea of getting your creation turned into a toy, I can't even imagine.
Oh,
what that's
yeah.
like.
We were at Walmart, unfortunately. But on a what do you call it, an end cap, there were Madman toys, and it was like, how is this happening? Madman at Walmart. So you don't get more mainstream than that.
Is there a photo of that up on your Instagram
of us at Walmart?
And the end cap?
No. I think
that would have been interesting.
Pre-Instagram.
So yeah, there was a question about the paintings, and Knights of Old was asking, are the paintings behind you all done in acrylic? I think we answered that one earlier. They are all done in acrylic, yeah. And the link that Kazra shared earlier has has the pricing, the size options on those. So if you're coming to OAX, these are options that you can get as part of a pre-OAX piece to pick up.
These ones, it'll be like get one half off kind of thing, because there are companion pieces. It's like a little mini scene.
And they're, I would assume, the same size.
Yeah, they're square. Those ones are square. I might be talked into selling them separately, because they do stand on their own in that weird out of context way. But I do want to encourage them both to be bought together. So that's why I'm willing to sell them for less, so they'll be in the same home.
That makes a lot of sense. And Ivan wanted to know if you have any events in Oregon soon.
No, fewer and fewer events. We just have so much stuff that we're excited about, that we're working on. There's so many family things happening. It is pulling teeth to get us to leave Eugene. we love where we. Yeah, no. So maybe every couple of years we might do Rose City or something, but I think Yeah. Very, very few events anymore. So, but you tempted us and coaxed us with OAX. That the whole idea of that, just too much fun, and then you throw in Disney World, and it's a lock.
Exactly. So OAX really is the place to get to see you in person for the foreseeable future, at least.
And if you're at Disney World the Thursday before, you can play with us.
See that? Well, you say that people will start asking me about that, because honestly, there's a group of collectors that are coming in. I think Wednesday night, and they're planning on going to Disney as well. They wanted to go to Galaxy's Edge, so
we will spend most of our time at Galaxy's Edge, and I would love it if people recognized us and came up and said hi and stood in line with us, and so we can talk comics the whole time. That would be great.
Well, then I think we can pretty much guarantee that's going to happen then, because we're doing a thing the day after that over at Universal on Monday after the show, because Adam Kubert did a lot of the facades over there and Islands of Adventure, and then Bill Morrison, who's at the show, is all had done a lot of the artwork that's over in the Simpsons land. So we're going to do sort of like a lunchtime meetup over in Islands of Adventure with the Marvel stuff, and then we're going to probably do like a dinner time, grab a Duff beer with Bill Morrison over in the Simpsons area.
Oh,
so
we love all those, man. We're flying out Monday morning. You're bumming me out, dude.
Oh man, well, yeah, that's right. We've already got everything arranged.
Wednesday night.
That's right. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to come back again, Mike.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. This is, again, it's so hard to get us anywhere near an airport anymore. And it checked every square. We're really pumped about this.
Good. No, we are too. It's we had a panel just before this one that Kazra ran that talked a bit with some of the people who are exhibiting and a few of the artists who are coming as well. And we've got a pair of exhibitors who are huge trading card art collectors, right? So they have stuff from Oris to Julie Bell and current guys like Dan DeSantos and stuff, but all like painted work. And we're actually going to have a gallery at OAX just for pieces from their collection, and much of which people have probably never even seen, and a lot of Marvel stuff back from the 90s and whatnot. So we've got that going on. We've got essentially a gallery here in Florida that represents a few really important collections are going to have a gallery as well. So you're going to get to see a Frazetta painting, that's pretty valuable, will be in their booth, but they'll also have a whole room full of illustration art that's from that collection. So it's really going to be a show unlike anything that's really ever been done before. And I think that it's going to be, the artists are going to have a hard time staying at their booths the whole time, because there's just going to be so much to see outside of the show as well. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it all kind of plays out when we pull it all together, but I can't wait for it to happen.
Yeah. I'm really curious how this is all going to work, but the potential is amazing.
So everybody knows, down in the show description, I have a link to gotsuperpowers.com in general, but also to the pre-con stuff. If you saw anything that you'd like to pick up from the show tonight, and because we know a lot of people watch these shows after the fact, especially those in Europe who are no longer awake, I'll flash on the screen one more time Simon's email address, so you can reach out to Simon and talk to him about picking up any of the artworks you saw, or even the ones that that had the naked gentleman wrestling from Ecstatics. Those are available too, and not on gotsuperpowers.com. And but yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be a good time, Mike. And again, you were the first guy I reached out to coming to the show, so I can't wait to get to finally meet you in person and get to I might even try to get over to Galaxy's Edge on Thursday, if now that I know you're going to be over there that day.
Yes, please.
All right, Simon, when do you get in, by the way?
I think it's Thursday. I might have my plans totally made for me.
Okay, good, perfect. All right, gentlemen. Well, listen, I hate to, cut and run. I do have a panel to do in about 45 minutes. I haven't eaten anything today. So I'm going to run and see what Maureen has got left over for me. Hopefully something that hasn't been eaten yet. But again, I'm looking forward to OAX at the end of January. And again, everybody should take one last gander at all those pop art paintings in the background, because those are fantastic. And I wish they could, they'd be there. I'd love to see them in person. It's like looking at a gallery here right now, Mike. So, all right, everybody. Well, listen, we're going to call it so that I can get some dinner. But Simon, Mike, thank you so much. Oh, one last last look. That is awesome.
There's my motto.
Define normal, but anyway.
Right, exactly. But all right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We've had a fantastic day today, and wrapping things up with Mike and Simon was a lot of fun. So enjoy the rest of the show, and we'll see you again soon.